Hey, what up, man?
Hey man, how's it going?
I'm chilling. How are you, man?
Cool. I'm good. I'm a little bit too much coffee today. Uh, but I am complete. I don't mind the heart and the veins running like a train, but the accelerated thoughts can be a bit too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's why I don't drink coffee. I just get anxious.
anyway, real quick, thanks for taking the time to chat with the clown, man. I really appreciate you just taking your time in this day, especially in these days, to have
Yeah.
a chat. I really appreciate that.
Man, thanks for
Um,
talking to me, bro. I'm a fan at the end of the day. I'm a
well,
fan
thanks
before
a lot.
artists. Yeah.
Yeah, we have some mutual friends or people, acquaintances that we, know, and
Yeah.
uh, I let music find me. I always have since I was a little kid. Because what I wanted to jump right into with you, because I've been bumping your tunes and looking at art and doing what I do, but I only do like quick things right up into the moment. But I'm well aware of your art and who you guys are and stuff. So I want to jump into something that I was thinking. Someone like yourself, it's something that I'm kind of researching in my life that I've
Yeah.
been through with this, I guess, making records, making songs, and then performing them live, and having a culture, and having humans of all ages needing an outlet, which can be your outlet. So I want to jump right in with this idea that you guys, I can feel how real you are onto
Yeah.
yourself. How real you are onto yourself, and that reminds me of who I am and who I was when I got into it. And I want to just talk about this vibe that happens, that you become aware of, that you're willing to put it all, put it, I'm all in, put it all out
Yeah.
there for everyone, put the guard down, believe the words, believe the feeling, and have that, and know, do you know that you're in a zone? Are you aware? Today, right now, are you aware, no matter what you're doing or who you're with or what you did before we got on the phone or what you're going to do, are you aware that you're in a zone?
I think I know. I know who I am personally, and I know what I've impacted. If that makes sense, and like more or less, you kind of feel it. You probably get the same feeling, like that surreal feeling when you're around the fans, where you're like, dang, I like, these guys wouldn't have been here if I didn't exist. And
Yes,
you
yes.
realize that you did like a lot for a lot of kids. Like a lot of kids run around and like imitate what I do, whether it be like, and I don't do drugs or anything, so it's like I don't believe I'm a bad influence to them or anything. So I'm like, these kids are like, have a role model, so be it. Like, even if it's bad, even if it's good, at the end of the day, like, if I died right now, there'd be millions of people who are just like, damn, like, he did so much. You know what I'm saying? And that's that
I
surreal feeling. Like, when you're around people and you're like, yo, I can, like, they're like, look up to me.
and this 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 responsibility, let's just call it a responsibility just for ourselves. We don't have anything to prove to anybody else, just ourselves. But what you're talking about, is there, in the zone you're in, with this vibe that you've created and this art that you push, that you obviously feed off of. And art, I use that loosely on all things you do, from the beats to
Yeah.
the photo shoots to just the way anything, that's the art. I mean, is there any downsides going on right now? I mean, I'm fascinated with like the hip hop culture and all the cultures like that would be opposite like where I'm at, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a window for me to look in and feel what I feel, but it's completely different. So it like makes me understand myself more, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
when I look into your window, you know, when I look in there, uh, when I when I'm when I'm zoning and I'm feeling what you're creating, you know, I can feel heavy stuff. Does any of that heavy stuff get back to you in the zone and call upon a responsibility? Like, you know, the lyrics, you know, saying certain things that you believe in. You know, you obviously believe in it. But does any of that come back to you in the zone where, you know, you have to think about that as well? I'm asking because I've had to several dozens of times in a 22 year career. I've
Yeah.
been, you know, I've had things that were surreal brought to my door right in my face because people believed, you know, maybe I thought that way. So similar things happen.
Yeah, a lot. Like whether it be like people doing self harm, where you're just like, I don't condone that, and I think you do. You know what I'm saying? Or like whether it be people doing hard drugs, and they're just like, I don't do any drugs, like unless it's like psychedelics, and then like I don't condone that. And like there's a lot of kids who think that I do. Like I guess I give off the energy that I do, and it's one of those things where it like becomes like a dark turn. Like you're going into like a little dark hole where you're like, you feel like you led these people when you really didn't. Like you led them into a bad place, but it's just a misinterpreting your art.
Well, I always found it's when it comes from your subconscious out into reality, you know, and it becomes tangible, you lose it as your own, and everybody can adopt it as their own. And it can mean anything to anyone, and it can whisper, you know. And I'm just asking because, you know, you guys make intense stuff and you put it out there. You put really intense ideas. And how old are you? Do you mind me asking?
I'm 21.
So you're 21. That's awesome. I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I can feel that. So I'm 50. So I don't know what that is, but you know, I'm on my way out. But in some senses, like I'm more in than I've ever been. I'm relevant, right? You know,
Yeah.
and I have had a whole life of having to be responsible for my responsibilities to how I want to perform my art. And I don't feel there's a lot of people that really understand me completely with, you know, the way I project what I really am. But I have a lot of souls come to me and expect me to be a certain way, and it's pretty heavy, you know. And when I listen to your stuff and I really like put together the shapes and the sounds and the temperatures and put the lyrics together or whatever, there's some heavy ideas going on. I just feel like maybe that follows you around, and how do you deal with that? I mean, is it comfortable? You don't know it's there. You just get up, you just go through your day, or are you aware at every moment like what you project is that heavy?
Yeah, and like in a way, like there's songs where I don't want to say certain stuff because I believe in like speaking things into existence. And like I feel like the
Yeah.
crazier I get in music, the crazier my life gets. Whether it be like me just talking a little too crazy about like death, and then someone dies around me, I feel like that's like true. Like I could talk that into existence, and
Well,
it's weird because you're like you want to be the morbid like crazy guy for your fans, and then at the same time you're like I also don't like I also want to be like positive at the same time, but I don't want to like not like betray my roots. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, like I came from the dark. Like I came from like the shadows and the scariness and all that. I don't want to like lose that, but at the same time, I do want to leave it. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know where you want to go? If you know you want to leave it and you're from it, do you have an idea in your heart where you want to go? in your mind?
No, that's like the artist dilemma. You know, you don't know where you're going, but you're just in for like the ride. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I woke up today knowing that I was going to speak with you, and I like tunes like Sinner's 13. I want to talk to you about this because it's what we're talking about right now. It's what you brought up, and I was going to try and venture into it, but you just brought it up because we're talking about it. So, you know, you'll be like, you'll bring up death. If I'm not mistaken, it's like, you know, fourth for the grave or whatever, you know, right? Something like that. And it's like, you're bringing it up and you're putting it out there. And today, I knew I was going to talk to you, and a really good friend. I get a text about an hour and a half before I got to talk to you. A really good friend passes away last night, heart attack. I'm told today. I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we were friends, and he is sort of an important person in the scene that I'm in here in Des Moines. He's a local person who's just an amazing person. So it hasn't hit yet, but you know, my mind was already on this energy. You know, I believe you guys, it's real, right? You know, it's just out of you, but that's the responsibility I'm talking about. You're throwing those shapes. We call them shapes. You know, we're always saying, hey, I'm going to throw shapes. So you're throwing shapes, and you're throwing out temperatures and emotions, and I can feel it. I can burn, man. You know, I can also be fueled. I can, like, walk through walls because I'm, like, motivated by pulse and color and all this. So, you know, that's what I'm saying is, like, you say a lot of things, and that's always fascinated me with the hip hop culture and all the legs of it. That, you know, I don't pretend like I know all of it, man, or any of it. So excuse me if I ever get off on some weird thing, but it's like I've always been fascinated for like the straight up, this is what's up, and you know, but I wonder, like, is a lot of it real? Is all of it real? For like all the stuff I see, or is most of it just BS? Or, you know, because this is all heavy responsible us artists have throwing those shapes and throwing those
I feel
words.
like for most hip hop artists, a lot of it is like an exaggeration, like all their lyrics are hyperbole. I want to like when we came in, we were trying to make like a documentary. You know what I'm saying? Like more or less, Shinners was a documentary. It was like, okay, we're gonna just keep recording the whole time, the whole day. You know what I'm saying? And anything that happens, we'll just put it in the video. I don't care like how crazy it is. You know, that's why we had someone shooting heroin in it. And they're just like, yeah, we're gonna show people how life really is for certain people. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like we were doing everything that we were saying that we were doing at that time. So, and if you listen now, our lyrics have changed a lot because there's no reason for us to be doing a lot of crazy stuff outside. Like, what are we like? We're not stupid, but like, yeah, a lot of rappers like that, like, it's a hyperbole. And I want to say hyperbole just because it's not completely untrue. It's just exaggerated. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I can just remember the first time that, you know, someone had heard voices because of what I performed and then brought that to me.
Yeah.
You know, right in my face, like right there. And it was so over the top, and it involved keys by the dozens and, you know, a handshake and just real bad stuff with my hands. But I let it slide, and I just had a talk with the person, and I was like, just be careful of what you think you hear. You know, you should be responsible. You know, you should be responsible as a human, at least ask or wonder or question, ask why or something other than assume. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of assuming going on in the world right now. I feel like everyone wants to talk. Everybody's right. and everybody's wrong because everybody's right, but no one wants to listen.
Nobody's
and they
listening.
want to throw.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just said I agree with you. Nobody's listening. You want to talk, but you don't want to listen.
Yeah. What? Why is that? You know, I mean, why have we gotten to a place where, since everybody wants to talk and no one wants to listen, I mean, what has brought that the hell on in this world? I mean, what is the source of the events, I guess?
I think it's always been like that, and even when we thought that we were listening, you were just waiting for your turn to talk. You know what I'm saying? You're not registering what you're hearing at the end of the day.
That's deep. That's really that's pretty insightful for your age, man. That's pretty deep. I like that. That's I'm doing my best to try to listen more. Like for example, I've had a lot of death in my life in a short period of time, but beyond that, that death has made me appreciate that when I'm in a car and I'm flipping out because I think I need to be somewhere, so I'm flipping out at this guy in front of me, you know, and I'm just having a little bit of road rage. I stop and I realize that I don't know, this person's mother, wife, daughter, anything could have happened. They could be dealing with anything that I don't know. So I should give them a pass. Now, some people don't get the pass because it's obvious, but I'm trying to like not have an opinion as much and try to pay attention more and see if there's something to listening to more instead of having to sort of be cliche-ish like our parents and be like, well, you got to cut wood this way. Well, what if I want to cut it this way? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, you just gotta like. It was hard for. I'm super stubborn, like when it comes to everything. But if I hear something that I can like take into consideration, then I have to give that person like the props and be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like if it's like really better to cut that wood this way, then I'm gonna cut it this way. You know, like, but I'm still gonna think about it before I do it. That's still like my stubbornness. I'm still gonna sit there like, no, I like my way, but if your way's better, I'll do it.
Do you feel like you've been here before? You seem very wise. You seem very wise. Have you feel you believe in any of that? You feel like you've been here before?
I feel like I've experienced like everything that I could really experience so far. You know what I'm saying? Like from music to everything.
All the way up to 21 already.
Yeah, like I feel like I've experienced more than like people who are older than me have like experienced. Obviously not you, because you're in the same industry as me. You understand like what younger people go through and what they see, and a lot of stuff that by when you were my age, you probably were very wise for your age, because this industry has a lot of like you get to see a lot of crazy stuff just because you're like a icon. Like, so like, can I say that? Like, I don't really think of myself as an icon, but like to a lot of people, you are.
Well, I like that. Oh man, interesting. All this is very unexpected. Meaning, there's so many places I could go with you that seem so real. A lot of it's around the lyrics and just I love beats and I love how people will present their beats. And that was going to be kind of like my other thing I sort of wanted to talk to you about was you got this vibe, you have this thing you want to project, you know, you have your friends that are real close, you know, what about the process of recording and all that? Is that as intense? Is that a reality or is that business? Is that a little stiffer, you know, or do you go and keep that the same sort of mindset getting into that thought process?
So like usually my lyrics are kind of like just all over the place. So it's like kind of just thoughts. I'll just randomly start writing. But I actually write my lyrics. Like most rappers don't even write. Like they just go in there freestyle. But I actually still like write. I know exactly what I'm doing before I'm going in the studio. I think the only thing that I don't know is like the hook, and I try to make it however I'm feeling at the moment. Like Shinner's was really like the Shinner's hook was like just spot, like it's just on the spot stuff. But the verses aren't. Like, those I just write.
What about something like Grave Hop? Like, was that something in the works? Like you had it and then you worked on it, or did it all come at once? Something like that.
That one I was in a studio that I didn't like. I laid the verse down. Everybody else recorded, and then I thought about it and I was like, oh, I have a hook. Like I sat there and was just thinking of stuff, and I was just like, I have a hook now.
I
Usually,
like that too.
I don't try to like write the hooks because then they don't come out as good. I tried writing hooks before. It's just never good for me.
So you want to be in there and kind of feel it and have it, and like it just comes out more naturally because it's like the moment.
Yeah, especially you get to release like if anything happened before that, you get to release it in the hook, and people won't know what
Right.
you're really talking about. It'll be like a little minor issue, and you get to release it in the hook in like a form of aggression, and now you're not mad anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like an outlet.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of artists that do that's really cool. What about tempo? You conscious of tempo?
Not really. Usually I like my producer. He just like sends me beats, and he always told me like I never favor like a certain tempo. He said usually people like favor a certain tempo. They like one. I'm just all over the place. I don't really
Well, that's why I ask. That's why I ask because my experience only and my opinion only is that like tempo, a tune a couple beats faster, someone spitting words may not have the same grit, the same
if you
feeling.
float it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, tempo is pretty serious, but when I see like the tempos are spot on in my opinion, just because I love music, man. I go everywhere with it. I love arrangements, I love alternate rhythms, alternate harmonies, alternate melodies, all that. So I felt that like you could probably get out who you are. This is what I feel. I feel like no matter who you are, when you hear it, you go and you're going to be able to get it out. And I do know for a fact some people, you can change it 2 beats and all of a sudden they're on a different pathway. And it just can't. So tempos become very sensitive to a lot of people. I don't feel like they're sensitive to you guys. Like I feel like you're right. As long as you feel it, you're in it.
Yeah, I know most people will be like, "Hey, I can't record if it's not 160," but I'm just I just want to. It's usually we go off the riff, the guitar riff. It all like starts off with the guitar riff. If we like the riff, then it's like, okay, this is gonna be a good song. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately, I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be a good song. No matter what the drums do, we're gonna figure it out because I like this riff and I'm gonna make it happen. And aggression shows no matter what BPM. No matter, you know what I'm saying? No matter how fast the beat is, no matter how slow the beat is, if you're actually angry and you're trying to let it out, they're gonna know. They're gonna get angry too.
Yep. No, it's true. We've had experiences. I can remember really surreal times that dudes in the band were doing some vocals, to get some things out, and because they were getting so much out, they were becoming further and further behind the beat. But it was completely evident. Yeah, it became completely evident that they were destroyed, but somehow it was all together and just sickening. I mean, tears. Like you can't, the breaking apart of it and the courage to record it and keep recording it and letting it deconstruct and not thinking, oh, it's off time, or where's the click, or why don't we have a click? This shit was just, and everybody just folded. All the dams broke. So, yeah, man, it's those kinds of things that, you know, I can feel. That's why I let music find me, because I feel like there's none of that hardly. You know, I feel like every day I wake up, it's like some bug has like multiplied, and it's like all the same. I can't sift through music, whatever genre it's in, and I'm like, you know, you really have to sift through, and hopefully you find something and you love it and you devour it, and then hopefully it spawns you to something else. I mean, what do you listen to? What do you like, man? What do you do every day?
I listen to I listen to a lot of hardcore. I like Knocked Loose and like Turnstile and Title Fight. Title Fight's my favorite band ever, just because I always have their songs playing. So anything that happens in my life, I can relate it to a Title Fight song because I'm usually playing their song. You know what I'm saying? Like if I play like a certain song, I'll be like, oh, I remember when this happened while I'm playing this song. It'll put me back in that. And they have sad songs where I'm like, oh, I remember when I was hurt because of this, and I was listening to like this song. I like relating songs to certain times.
I love that. Yeah, of course. That's like kind of zone I was talking about, like knowing, like you're up today, but you go back yesterday and you're like, oh yeah, that feeling, that thing. It's like that zone you were in. It's like a bubble, you know, and you're like, damn, I was in that, you know. I know what you mean.
That is a surreal thing. Like you'll play a song and it'll put you right back in the mood you were 3 years ago when something happened. And
you can smell it.
How? Yeah, you're like, how is this this is bothering me again? Like, just because this song.
Yeah. Well, that's why I tell most people in my life music has always been the only God I really know, because it's the only thing that's always been there for me moment by moment. I don't even need it playing for it to be there for me. But it's like that. Like music, music is the one thing that can break me down and make me cry more than anything, to the point where I can't even like really listen to certain music anymore, you know, because it'll take me right to this place of hurt that I just know the minute the fucking tone of the song hits, I'm done, because it takes me to all those times, like you're saying, those references.
Those times when I was listening to this type of music, what the artist means, you'll relate to like certain stuff because you're also an artist. You understand the feelings, and like when people record with real emotion, you feel it through the record. Like
absolutely,
yeah,
100%. We as a band were very blessed to have experienced that sort of thing, you know, with recording with Ross Robinson in you know, in that era that we were in. I mean, it wasn't that we made ourselves believe, we all knew that if you, for example, if you were playing a drum part and you were slamming as hard as you fucking could, we knew that was being transferred vibration, energy, electricity, all of it directly into the machine, and the machine was eating it. We knew it. So you're absolutely right. You know, that's my.
But there's a lot of songs like that. Like you could just hear it. Like, you can hear what they're going through. You could feel it. And it's weird because it's such a time difference. Like the song will be recorded 20 years ago, and you feel it. That's why music is so crazy, because it's timeless. It's just music is just different. Like, and I don't understand how sound can do stuff like that to people, but they do. Like that's the weird part about it.
Yeah, music is a trip. It's I guess I always say that I'm really blessed to have discovered it. I mean, can you imagine this reality with no experience of music?
That'd be the most depressing life ever.
It really would, man. It would be, I mean, for me, that's what I'm scared of. I mean, sure, listen, you know, I'm a fellow human. I have empathy for the human condition. I understand
Yeah.
what we're all going through. I know there's religion. I know there's war. I know there's money, love, death, hate, all this. But what scares me most, besides giant lions, is a world with no music, you know, no outlet of that, just sterilization or something, you know. That would be horrifying.
If I think of how much I listen to music, it's probably like 90% of my day. Cause in the car, music, in the house, music, with my friends, music. There's never not music. Even in the background, even in the store when you're doing something, you still hear music. You'll still hear I was in like Harbor Freight, and they were playing Audio Slave. They were playing Like a Stone, and I was just like, damn, this song's amazing. Like everywhere there's music.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, I mean, it's true. It's true. And then even in the corporate world, they'll dumb it down with that, you know, that concept elevator music, because, you know, in reality, there are humans that are more interested in, you know, let's say mathematics or doing insurance. I don't know, but there's people that are interested in other things, and we've dumbed down some music just to make it a little more acceptable for them to be able to apply it to themselves. They're like, oh, I like this little jingle, and they have no idea. It's like Depeche Mode.
It's still music in the corporate world, but the most vanilla world that you can think of, like they still have music. So
yeah, it would be absolutely frightening without it. So I think I was asking. I think I took us somewhere else, and I apologize. But what do you listen to music 90%, but title fight, a lot of hardcore. What are I was going to ask you if you listen to like any bands from like the early 2000s, like Snapcase, Vision of Disorder. You heard any of those bands, those hardcore bands, and kind of like
I listen to metal. Like Madball.
Yeah.
Who else? Dang, I listen to a lot of fucking bands. Early 2000s though. Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah.
They're kind of 90s though.
Yeah, no, I love Gorilla Biscuits. Yeah, man, I love those dudes. That's kind of where I come from, man. I'm kind of like the late 90s guy, alternative, you know, punk rocker, alternative, you know, kind of scene. And then, you know, meeting Paul, like he introduced me to everything that I couldn't wrap my head around, because I'm sort of from a small thought process, middle America, where a lot of aggressive things didn't make their way in, and Paul, coming from California, was really able to go, listen, dumbass, check this out, this, and man, just snapped me right to shape. I had a lot of catching up to do in a small period of time, but I did it. I just devoured it all, was waiting for it. He's like, I got you, Rage Against the Machine, it changed my life. He's like, I know you need this halftime stuff. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just check it out. Those breakdowns and those crescendos changed my life. I was like, I was looking for that forever, for something that just broke down to zero and then popped like dynamite. That was me. That's how I felt. That's how I felt my heart was, like on, off, on, off, on, off. I'm still a lot like that, but the wife is like, you need to be off.
That's why I always thought that I like breakdowns so much. I was like, I like breakdowns so much because it's like a music personification of my life. Like it gets mellow, like I get sad and then it'll explode at one time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what like a breakdown was. That's why I was looking for songs like, yo, look at this. Me and my friends would send each other like, yo, look at this fucking breakdown. Look at even us, y'all, Slipknot, literally had a melodic breakdown. I forgot which fucking breakdown that was. But that was like one of like the craziest breakdowns we ever heard. It was like a melodic breakdown.
Could be Before I Forget.
Yeah, it's the all I ever do is forget. Yeah, that breakdown.
Yeah.
We were like, what the hell? This is the coolest breakdown, because we had never heard a melodic breakdown. We were like, we
Yeah.
never heard of melodic. We always used to the heavy stuff. We were like, this melodic stuff is where it's at.
Oh man, thanks. It is beautiful. He's quite a singer. When those are the chances I guess we like to take. Is those sort of things are really natural for us because it's inside. And we just don't even question it. And I can remember early on pre-proing that we did that album, with Rick Rubin and Greg Fiddleman, and I remember before I forget early on, I'm like, this is really gonna make a difference. This whole, and when it does, when it breaks down, yeah, man, that's cool.
Yeah, when that there's like stuff before that that's even heavy, but the melodic breakdown just puts you in a whole different like. I could imagine being at a concert and the melodic breakdown like goes off and the pit stops. Like that's just where it's at.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's a good color. It's fun. I love the video when we were doing the video right there on that part. If you watch it, Corey, he's walking forward and there's a mic cable and he's walking forward singing, but right at the top of the middle of the breakdown when things are starting to build up a little bit, the chord goes tight. For just a brief moment, the chord just is like boing, tight, and then it loosens up and he comes walking back. And I always loved that because I felt like that was our tightrope, man. We're always ready to snap, but we don't.
Yeah.
And we're always stretchable and intact, but we get to that point all the time. Slipknot does, I swear.
Yeah, that's a good reference.
Well,
to a mic cord.
Yeah, I've lots of that up and downs, So what? So did I ask you? But where are you calling from? Where are you at? I know I asked you, I think really early on, but one more time. Where are you at calling from right now?
Oh, I'm in Long Island, so I'm at my mom's house right now.
Okay.
I live in Brooklyn. I'm from here though. I'm from Long Island.
Okay.
So I'm from like the suburbs and stuff.
How's just to touch on it lightly, because of course we both know, but you're a lot younger than me, so I'm interested on how your brain is perceiving what's going on. But how's everyone around you? How's the neighborhood? How's the family? How's the city, the cultures? How's everybody doing on the East Coast? What's the feeling like? I've been here since everything happened,
Yeah.
So I only know my experience and what little I'll watch because it's just a shit show on TV and I can't handle everybody talking over everybody, So how is it there?
So I was at like a couple protests. Like I was actually outside like when it got like crazy, and I just believe that there's like a lot of angst. Like, and it's not even. I feel like this isn't even because of this one issue. It's because everybody just has a lot of pent up anger that they need to let out, and we literally got to see like teenage angst in a nutshell, like just all explode in like these protests and everything and riots. Like we got to see like angst explode in a nutshell. Like it's like ridiculous. In a way I support it, and then in a way I'm just like it shouldn't happen. Like I don't get how it got to this.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. How did it get to this? But is everybody being safe? Is it rampant around you guys as far as COVID goes? Is everybody taking care? Does it seem like it's just out of control? Or
as far as COVID goes, I don't think anybody cares anymore, which is really bad. Like I just see people just walking around now like it's normal. I guess everybody's so hyped to be outside.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to change behavior. It's hard to change the mindset. But knowledge is something you give, so it's like everybody's just got to grab a hold of the actual knowledge, and then try to proceed with caution, I guess, I don't know. But it's, I have a couple friends. I know a couple people that have gotten it, and I have a couple friends who have had grandparents pass away from it. So it's like, it's at least, I always knew it was real, but, you don't know something's real until it's in your backyard. And,
Yeah.
we even had some stuff go on here in Des Moines because of all, the stuff that's going on that needs to be addressed, and for my hometown to, stand up, it's good to get out what we need to get out, but it's, it definitely proves that there is a mindset of concern with humans right now. Everyone is pretty pent up, I think.
Yeah, it's just a lot of unaddressed issues, and
Yeah.
it's just crazy right now. It's just a lot of unaddressed issues.
It is.
A lot of stuff going on.
It's nuts. Well, man, I really appreciate you. Basically my show, honestly, is that I've been talking to people my whole career and people giving interviews, and I always wish someone would just like call me up and just talk to me. I don't know about whatever, not really have an agenda. So I really didn't. I don't have an agenda with my show other than I'm interested in people and what they have to say, and where we go is where we go. And sometimes I have to lead it, and sometimes I don't. So I just really appreciate you taking time in this world that we live in today to talk to me and keep making the great art. I'm a fan, listen to the stuff.
Yeah.
You draw something out of me, you draw something out of me. I won't lie. There's a lot of things, you'll just display and you put out there and you say, and that's the art I like. That's the art I need. I need art that makes me think and that pushes me in an unlazy way. And that's the music and the words and everything. So man, keep up the great art. And what do you guys have going on? What are you doing? You got anything coming up that's different than the norm, like just doing a show normally, or do you got anything that you're doing?
So for COVID, since it's COVID, I don't even know how we could go about throwing a show or anything. But there's always like secrecy. So we always have secrecy on our side to help us throw a show.
I like that. That's old school.
Yeah, right. That's more core than anything. We can go back to flyers and stuff. So
right. Well,
when that happens, it's pretty like that's gonna be the most torn up show just because everybody's been inside and everybody's upset. So there's gonna be some crazy pits in there.
We canceled like 3 tours, and besides what that means to me, what it really means to me is all the disappointed fans that are my family that don't get our music to help them get by the day like I've needed the bands I grew up with. So a lot of bands these days are turning to, viral, and they're like, like renting a room and just making sure the live video or pre-recording it and then putting it online. Man, a lot of people are just trying to hit some performances. Even some people are even renting out bars where they can just social distance and play there because that's some market you can name, So who knows? We know there's going to be a lot of babies because of this. We know there's going to be a shit ton of babies born. I mean,
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, bro. The babies and the way the babies were born, every baby's should have a sheet of how it was born because there's a story. I mean, it's crazy. Like, people are animals. Yeah, people are animals, man. So it's like, oh, God. It's going to be a lot of babies. And anyway, well, much love and peace, man. And thanks again for talking to me a little bit. I tend to just kind of trail and go all over and that kind of stuff. So I hope you had a good time. And I'm just going to keep bumping the music and try to figure out more, and we'll have to talk again. And sometime out there, you know, if we're around or you're around, let's make sure we get together and do it again and check out each other's art.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Thanks for talking to me, because you're like, if Slipknot didn't exist, City Morgue literally would not have existed, because if you see recent interviews, I always say Slipknot, DMX, Onyx. That's it. That's what I think City Morgue is, you know?
Well, man, that's an honor. Thank you. And I love, it's a weird concept. You know, we were hitting on that early. It's hard for me to fathom, but I don't deny it anymore, because it would be just dumb for me to say that, you know, we haven't helped and influenced. But I'm just lucky to be around and perform with the guys that I do, and we just have a special thing. So I love that, man. And thank you so much. And definitely, man, like, come to a show, let's hang, and who knows, maybe we can even like do a collab or something, you know, or something. I don't know. We'll just keep talking. And but if I'm around that neck of woods and, you know, hit me up, and I'll just tell, you know, we'll just keep all of our people talking, and, you know, let's get together sometime and do this again.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Whenever. I'm always here. So.
All right, man. You're very wise. I enjoyed this conversation. Keep your head up, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Thanks, man. Have a good one.